So you're playing Lost Records Bloom and Rage, and you want to know how to get the best love score with Nora, of course. So how to get something more with Nora in 1995 and Reacquainted in 2022. Well, you're in luck. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. I mean, that's why you clicked on this, right? Yeah. So let's start where it all begins in scene 5, where you meet all the girls. So when scene 5 starts, you can do many different things, but if you don't get to the ice cream stand on time, it closes. So you need to head on over there because there are some extra points for Nora that you can get. Just when you walk over there, Nora's gonna suddenly notice you and say this.
Are you naturally red-haired?
Make sure to answer, my hair really is red, for that extra Nora point.
Is that a camera?
And if you take out your camera and point it at her, she'll start posing for you. After a bit, she'll say,
Are you filming me?
Ask her if it's okay for a heart.
Sure.
So then go ahead and order something from the Youper Scooper. Talk to Autumn, start the conversation to order something, and then listen to what Nora says.
Just get the bear one already. It's good.
So pick that one, the cute and grumpy, for that Nora point.
Make extra for me, please.
Now, when you get to the point where Nora and Autumn are behind the Youper Scooper, what you need to do to get more Nora points is to pull out your camera and point it toward her. Now, be careful. It is pretty specific about where you point it. If you point it at Nora versus Autumn, or if you kind of walk in too far, it might start other conversation than the one that I'm talking about here. And it might like skip over what I'm saying. So it can be a little finicky. Just be really careful, kind of stay back. And Nora will notice that you're shooting her.
Think I could be a movie star?
You definitely want to choose, I'd have to see what you look like in a cone bra.
I don't like this girl.
Keep your camera on Nora, and she will eventually say this.
Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
And make sure to answer, what light through yonder window breaks. And then it continues again, and ask her, what about lollipops for payment?
If it's sugar, I'm good.
Now, in this version, it seems like in testing that Nora has a bit of an advantage if you're aggressive with Dylan and Corey. It doesn't make full sense to me, though, so I don't know if that's fully it. Check more in the checkpoints video, the Lost Records checkpoints video. I'm going to explain a little bit more about all the checkpoints, how I did testing, how you can know where you're at and your status for each of these girls as you go, and it will explain a little bit more about that here. So to get Swan to be a little bit more aggressive, choose either the screw you and you film her,
Screw you.
or and rolling and film.
Rolling.
So do either one of those or both, and you will get that aggressive status. It seems to affect Nora in some way, so just in case, do it.
Fuck you!
But backing up just a bit, when Autumn invites you to go to the movies with them to break up this fight, make sure you say, you sure I can come? Since Nora contributes to the conversation, I feel like it could help her, so might as well choose this. And that's it for scene 5 for Nora. Let's go into the next scene, the first night. This is where a lot of the choices happen, where you're gonna have to pick one girl. Like this first one, choose Corey owes you for the movie, Nora.
Sorry you had to miss the movie, Nora.
Then when Nora suggests what to shoot with the camera, make sure to pick, Nora's right, I should film you guys. Oh, she's gonna love that.
Yes! I was born for this!
Next, Autumn and Nora mention that they have a punk band, and you get positive points for Nora if you pick, can I film you playing music? And she's very excited about that.
Yes! This needs to happen.
Now, of course, when Nora says that she wants you to film her, you have to accept, right? So pick, sure, I'll film you, Nora.
Okay. Rolling shortly.
And then as you're filming, make sure to choose, you look really cool. Okay, so you're looking for the keys, but don't find them. If you do, it's going to skip over a bunch of really good dialogue with Nora. So do all this stuff first, and I'll tell you the point where you can find the keys. Go to Nora and just kind of hang around her for a bit. Now, Nora has a lot of things that can come up here. If you have your camera on, she might say something. You can also approach Nora and check in on her directly. Now, the other girls don't have that. So again, the order of when this stuff comes up depends on when you do those things. A Hey Nora prompt might show up around her. You can choose that, and here's what you want to do in that conversation to get the most Nora points.
Hey. Hey.
Assuming you shot her on the swings and you didn't say no, then you'll have a you look great on camera option. Do that. If you didn't shoot her on the swings, that's okay. You can still pick, I really missed out. Sorry.
Another time.
Next, of course, you should say, how about we make our own movie?
Yes, yes, yes!
And then a boyfriend, gross. I love that this is a Nora point here because she is gay. She doesn't know she's lesbian yet. She doesn't know, but she's connected with you if you say a boyfriend, gross to her. So she likes that. And then of course, when she's doing a little like flirty, pretend flirty, just kidding, you say, you'd kiss me.
You'd kiss me? So would.
At some point, though, she's going to ask you to shine the light around the puddle because she thinks she sees something. When you do, she doesn't find anything, and she's going to mention the multiplex. Make sure to pick, I go to the movies a lot, usually alone, to kind of continue that conversation and get that point. Now, again, depending on how things go with timing, if you pull up your camera and shoot Nora, just kind of hang on her for a little bit. At some point, she's going to say this.
You like what you see?
Make sure to pick, yeah.
Yeah.
And then keep your camera on her and then say, my cat's in my movie. But when she says this next thing, don't choose people are boring too, because you'll get a negative Nora point here. So if this comes up for you, just stay silent here, or just don't keep your camera on here and don't mention the cat thing, and I'll just pretend that didn't happen just in case you're worried. Now, here's the point where it's safe to find the keys, okay? So find the keys. Eventually, you're going to be triggered back into 2022 and talk to Autumn for a minute.
I had this intuition that the four of us were gonna be tight.
It's unclear if this is only a heart for Autumn because she's the one asking the question, but might as well pick I felt the same here. You're talking about the group, right? You're talking about all three of them. So in my mind, a point for all three of them probably is what happens. So once you're back into 95, you're looking for something to throw at the keys. Nora's gonna randomly ask Kat how homeschool is.
So, what's homeschool like, Kat?
If you pick I like to sleep in 2, you will get a heart for Nora.
We're so much alike, Swan.
There's actually more that you could do with Nora on camera, but sometimes I've found that if you just hang on her, it won't trigger. You need to go off and do something else. But at some point, she's gonna say this.
You love looking at me, huh?
And make sure to say, you look cool on camera. And then even though she and Autumn kind of get on each other's nerves, she will say this.
I'll definitely back her up if her boss is pissed.
And if you answer me too, you will get a heart here. It's unclear if this is a heart for Nora or for Autumn, but hey, might as well do it. Now, still bumming around Nora. At some point, this doesn't always trigger for me, but she's gonna say like, hey, Autumn, should I dye my hair purple? Just like randomly not looking for the keys. And make sure to pick you'd look great with purple hair. Now, this is gonna give likely a negative broken heart to Autumn, but you'll get a positive for Nora. Again, this doesn't always pop here, so if it doesn't happen, just kind of move on with your life. It's only 1 point.
You guys should come to our next rehearsal.
There's nothing for Nora in scene 7, so going to scene 8, and when it's time to talk about Nora, there's 2 things you can choose for positive Nora points. Either Nora's really funny, which is great, or Nora's so pretty. And I don't know, if you're trying to get something more that just feels right. I feel like maybe the you're so pretty is worth more points. I haven't been able to prove that or not, but just in case, I like to choose that one. And at the end of this interview, you can choose moving sucks, which gives you no hearts, or I hope we stay friends forever. It's not clear who gets the point, but I think it's obvious that they probably all 3 do.
I hope we stay friends.
So for the Nora path, pick it.
I like them a lot.
Now, as you're coming back to 2022, delivering drinks to Autumn, you get to sort of make a, I guess we call it a major choice about your liquor preferences in 95. I tested not drinking in 95 and drinking in 95, and it didn't seem like there was a point advantage for Nora in that choice alone. But if you do choose to drink in 95, a lot of these locked choices come up, which are a little bit more wild and flirty and, different things like that with Nora. Now, there's unlocked options if you didn't drink in 95 that still give you positive points. So I don't know for sure. I didn't see it on testing. It didn't come up as making a difference. But in the Nora path, I just like to pick drinking because it just seems like more aligned with her. And if the point is to align with somebody and see if you're on the same wavelength, that just seems like logical to me.
So you drank.
But if you chose a liquor drink, you can say, I've always liked booze, which will then mean you drink in 95.
Well, you know me. I'll try any drink once.
And if you picked the soda, you can say, I stopped drinking a while ago, which means that you did drink in 95.
Coffee is my last vice. Coffee and internet cat videos.
I'm going to talk about how the choices change for Nora depending on this choice, so I wanted to bring it up for you here. So now, scene 9, Garage Band, you have lots of opportunity for optional hearts with all 3 of the girls here. So let's take a look at Nora's. First, when you come in, you can say this place is awesome. Now, I feel like this is a Nora point. Technically, it could be all three girls, but for sure Nora, since it is her place.
This place is awesome.
Thanks.
Now, if you linger here for a little while, don't pick up the camera yet. At some point, Nora is going to bring up the spew. Now, of course, you're going to be on the same wavelength in terms of humor. So you're going to say that's funny, whether you think it is or not.
It'd be funny if you, like, chucked orange slime at the audience. Oh.
And when Nora brings up Corey, answering Corey sucks will give at least Nora a heart.
Fuck him.
Welcome to the club.
So now you can pick up your camera and specifically shoot the pizza boxes. So wait till no one's talking, take out your camera, shoot those pizza boxes. They'll go into a whole conversation about what kind is better, cold or hot pizza, all of that kind of thing. If you pick pizza should be hot, you'll get a positive Nora point here.
Pizza deserves to be hot.
Thank you.
So after you shoot everything around Nora's garage, she's going to ask you to find her pick, and there's some opportunities here to get some more Nora points. As you're looking through the movie tower, open up the Shadow Legion's case, and she's gonna, notice her weed stash. Make sure to choose You're an Outlaw for a positive Nora point.
Ooh, Nora's an outlaw.
You know it.
And then it's kind of unknown which pick you should pick for a positive Nora experience. Now, we know that the Thart pick is her favorite because Autumn says it. However, later on, spoiler, she gives the Thart pick to the Abyss. So I really hope you played this. And so maybe that's a negative because she won't have it later. It's only tape 1, so we don't know yet. Use your judgment there.
Oh, found it.
But after you pick it, she starts talking about the story of how she found that Thart pick, right? First pick, your makeup looks cool.
Your makeup looks cool. What's his problem?
Right?
And then in the mall conversation, there's 2 positives that you can pick. Either, what if we went together?
I'd go to the mall with you sometime.
Only if you promise to try on makeup samples with me.
But I feel like I Love the Mall is a better, love score.
I love the mall. The arcade, the froyo place.
Oh my God. Are you me?
Come on, let's play.
Okay, so scene 10. Now here is where a lot of those locked options come up for Nora if you chose to drink versus if you didn't choose to drink.
You guys made me drink alone, so.
The first dialogue change comes when you find that first area to shoot in. Nora mentions how this would be a great place to smoke. If you did not drink, you can say, can I try some weed for a positive heart for Nora? Or if you did drink, you can be a little bit more loosey-goosey and say, I want to spark up too.
Yes, I want to spark up.
Nora will also ask if you want to shoot her blowing smoke rings. Now, I haven't seen a point difference here, but it just feels like something you should do. But hold on all other shooting. Nora's going to say,
Do I look okay, Autumn?
and if you did not drink, you could say, you look nice, Nora, for that positive point. But if you did drink, you could tell Nora she's looking hot.
Ooh.
Now, stick around here for a while. You got to wait kind of a little bit. Snacks will get brought up.
Oh, we should have brought some snacks.
And you can say if you didn't drink, at least we had beer. You'll get a positive for Nora. But if you did drink, you could say beer doesn't count as a snack.
It has calories. True.
As you come around the corner, you'll decide that this is the next area to do something more theatrical, right? There's a lot of options of things to do here. But as you're kind of just hanging out in this area, don't choose anything theatrical yet. Just hang out in this area. Nora's going to bring up how bugs just, are attacking her, essentially. She's so much like me in this case.
Get off me, fuckers!
Now, if you did not drink, you'll have 3 options of things to say about bugs, which we'll get to in a minute. But if you chose to drink in 95, you can say bugs like you because you taste so good.
Delicious.
Oh my God.
Now, if you didn't drink, you can also pick the one about mosquitoes. Since that is what Nora complained about, you'll also get a positive point with Nora there. Okay, so choose shoot air guitar, which obviously is related to Nora and Autumn. So while they're up there, Nora's just, in her element, right?
Look at me.
Isn't awkward.
So as Autumn says that she's feeling awkward, you can just say,
You look cool, Nora. I'm done.
and then after they're done, there's different options that come up. If you did not drink in 95, you could say it'll look great layered with music, which is positive hearts. Now, I assume that is toward both Nora and Autumn. If you did drink, the option will be it looked good but wobbly. Again, positive hearts, I assume both towards Nora and Autumn.
We can use this. It's perfect.
So now we're shooting the motorcycle scene. And I think it's pretty clear what you should pick for Nora.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Just pick they're hot and bothered and they should kiss.
You should kiss. Okay.
She's gonna be very happy with that. There's definitely a Nora advantage there. Okay, but further along, now you're gonna have to actually make a full choice of which path to take. Now, of course, this is going to affect your relationship, not only with the choice that you make, but also you have more opportunities for conversation as you're walking along this path. So obviously you're gonna pick going to the path with Nora.
Come with me.
I'm coming, Nora.
Even though you just see like one heart pop up, it seems like it affects it 3 points. And then there's a lot of options within the dialogue of things that you could say that give you more. So if you picked, did you like the motorcycle skit idea? You could also then follow up and say, you were so funny.
I thought you were hilarious.
And then of course, if you shot the air guitar scene, you can say your air guitar was so awesome, which will then lead you to the option to say you stole the show for a Nora point.
I don't know how you do it.
But my favorite is actually if you pick today went by fast. So unrelated to anything you shot, because then you could say, you're safe with me.
It might get dark soon, but don't worry, you're safe with me.
And I just think that's cuter.
What would I do without you?
Now, as you're hanging out on the overlook, this likely gives points to all the girls, but you can choose.
I've never had any friends like you.
But then the next choice seems to affect each girl individually. If you pick I feel old already, it seems like Nora gets a point.
I get it. Being a kid was awesome. It's different now.
So scene 11, you're watching the footage you recorded.
I gotta find the right channel.
I typically pick I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Then if you choose to play your footage before rewinding it, there's a little embarrassing thing that happens. But if you choose it's a personal thing, I feel like it's definitely a point for each girl, because what I'm finding is all the girls like comparisons stay exactly the same in my tests. I think they just contribute to everybody's scores. But here, when you're choosing who the best actress is, of course, you're gonna pick Nora. And it seems like that is gonna give another 3 heart advantage, it seems.
Me?
Scene 12, a big shorty where you're lost in the woods.
It's getting dark.
If you pick don't worry, just keep going, Nora's point increases at least. So I usually pick this if I'm going for a high Nora score.
Don't worry, just keep going.
Now, quickly moving into scene 13, in 95, there's going to be a lot of different options that are pluses for some and minuses for others. So again, it's a little challenging to figure out. Right away, aren't you tired is going to come up. And while Kat can get a positive point, it seems like the others get negative no matter what you choose, it seems. So I just choose to say silent here for Nora. So then you're just kind of bumming around. If you open up the hatch in the door, it'll prompt some conversation. Don't do anything else. Just wait for that conversation to be done, and then wait some more. Don't do anything else because it can kind of get out of this. Nora will bring up a drug dealer, and if you say maybe we'll find some weed, Nora likes that.
Now that'd be awesome.
Okay, so finally going inside to the cabin, go over to the bear trap. You'll see, you can look at it, and then when you back away, it closes really loudly.
Oh, shit!
If you pick it's just a bear trap, there are only positives there. So in my mind, it will help out with Autumn and with Nora, possibly Kat, maybe just one of them, but I just do this one just in case because it's positive, so it can't hurt.
Just a bear trap?
Dude,
Now come over to this wall here and say, check this out.
There's some swirls on the wall here.
If you want that positive with Nora, you could say, maybe you're right, it's weird. Now, there's just theories at this point about what this is, but tape 2, we'll see. Okay, the phone call. Now, if you pick Nora, you're gonna, it seems like, get a 3-point advantage just by making the phone call alone. But then you also have the option of getting 7 more by making certain choices. So for the conversation here, you wanna start with any greeting, it doesn't matter which one.
Sup, home skillet?
But then I was scared, weren't you?
I was scared when the power went out, to be honest.
Then thanks to you, because Nora likes it when, you know, she's the focus, right? Then I can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you.
Then for the secret, make sure to pick Autumn, because Kat, if you pick Kat, you won't have the opportunity to get another points. Pick Autumn. Then I won't tell. You won't tell the secret. Then I bet you're right. Let's walk together, of course.
Totally. I can walk with you.
And then not if I see you first.
Oh my god, you're such a dork.
Now, when you come back to 95, if you've done everything I said for the Nora path, if you go over and you pet the cat after it gets back on the trunk, you should have the option where it says you'd love Nora here. Make sure to choose that for an extra Nora heart.
She gets the zoomies too.
Now, when you're picking the snacks, make sure to pick Nora's favorite snack, that low-calorie one. For whatever reason, she loves it. So make sure to bring that one. And of course, the magic eye book that she requested. Okay, going into scene 15, if you said that you would walk to the cabin with Nora, which of course you would have if you're following along, depending on what you picked in scene 8 for that individual swan interview, you'll have different locked options here. If you picked that Nora was funny, you can say, I thought you were hilarious for an extra point for Nora.
You cracked me up like instantly.
And if you pick Nora was pretty, you could say, I noticed that you're super pretty. Now, that's, again, my favorite one.
Oh my God, seriously?
Now, when you go into the cabin, assuming that you heard some juicy gossip about one of the girls, do not say what that gossip is because you're going to get negative points. So just stay silent or say it's like a witch's lair.
It's our own witch's lair.
So now it's time to help people around the cabin, or in Nora's case, hang out with her a little bit. So go over to her and you can either say, do you need a hand, or can I bum a smoke? Either way, you get a point. I think on the Nora side of things, can I bum a smoke feels more like her, so I would do that.
Is this an indirect kiss?
And then they must be shy around girls.
You're cute, you know?
And then move them off. Just say hold still. Don't tell her there's a bug on her. And I know from personal experience, I just want you to take it off. So do that here for her, and you have a really good moment here. And all of these lead to more points with Nora. When it's time to pick the colors, make sure to go with Nora's gold.
Oh, yes! Gold, gold, gold!
And then as the echoes of summer start and this montage goes on, notice if you brought Nora's snack, she smiles a little bit here. And then when it's time to pick the flower, make sure to pick one. I don't know if the colors matter, but pick one and give it to Nora. And then, of course, draw Nora too, because you're just kind of obsessed.
It's me!
And then when Nora's admiring the cabin, you can say, great work, team, to address everyone.
Great work, team.
Now, scene 17, we have Nora's interview. And right away, she's going to say that she's making, a bracelet for someone. Now, if you have been following along so far, she should be making this for Swan.
I wanted to make you something.
If she's making this for Cat, you went astray. You did something severely wrong in this guide. So I would just start over. You can then choose which stone you want. Doesn't seem like it affects points at this point, but maybe something will happen in tape 2, but I don't know how to speak to it there. So just pick whatever. And then make sure to pick thank you.
Thanks. Seriously.
Then as the interview goes on, choose, so Linda's like a wicked stepmother, and then your mom must be pretty, a little flirty there.
Are you saying I'm pretty?
For the piercing, it doesn't seem like there's a point difference here if you choose to get a piercing. Any of them seem to be okay. Just don't say you don't want her to get one because you'll get a negative there. And then promise you won't leave me behind.
I'll remember you even after I die.
Scene 18, Bloom. Here's where things start getting dicey. But first, we start out with 2022 autumn.
I guess I kind of did piss all over Nora's dreams of being rock stars someday.
Now, I did test if what you say to Autumn affects Nora, and it didn't seem to, but I feel like it would. So in my opinion, just in case on the Nora path, you should make these choices. You could have been more supportive and then famous just as she planned.
Good for her.
Okay, back in 1995, as you're walking to the little area Kat wants to show you, make sure you laugh at Nora's "that's what she said" joke.
Nora!
She thinks I'm funny, guys.
Now, I haven't seen an advantage or disadvantage for Nora with the whole curse conversation. She does like talking about who she would curse, and she does do the blood oath herself, but in the future, she's really freaked out by it. We know that she's kind of a scared person, so I don't think it affects her that much, but we don't know about tape 2 yet, so just kind of do what you want here. But what does change is when you're back in 2022, because this is the moment that Nora shows up. And if you have a high enough relationship score in 1995, you'll see a lot of unlocked dialogue. Selecting the majority of these unlockables is crucial for that 2022 reacquainted status at the end of tape 1. So when Nora first arrives, you should get "you look amazing" as a locked option that becomes available. The next unlock one is "I'd come with you, Nora," so definitely pick that.
We always went with the flow, Swan.
Then you go back to 95 where you're filming them singing the song in the most hilarious singing scene I've ever seen in my life. Make sure you have Swan choose to sing See You in Hell. That gives a general heart. I believe it's for everybody.
The song is already pretty cool.
Back in 2022, you want to do a cheers. Now, it's interesting because you have two options here, depending on what you said for vengeance or justice of what the song was about. You could cheers to that, but that one has one positive and one negative heart. I have been unable to test who gets that positive and negative, and logically, it's hard to tell who it would be, so I can't even work it out. But I do know that if you say cheers to us, it's just positive, so I assume that's positive for both of them. So I would pick cheers to us for that Nora heart in 2022.
To us and making new memories.
Oh,
Cheers.
I love that.
And then there are 3 more possible unlocked options for Nora here. So when Nora talks about not finding Swan online, if it's a high enough relationship score, you'll have, wow, I looked you up too.
Oh, really?
And then when Nora's showing some pics, unlocked will be she's lucky to have you talking about Nora's wife. And as they're looking at Nora's new collection, unlocked will be, I knew you'd do something amazing.
I knew you'd do something amazing, Nor.
Thanks.
And then you go back to the bar to get your phone where there's a checkpoint for Nora that we'll talk about more in the checkpoint video. But when you come back to the table, make sure that you ask Nora, how does it feel to be back, Nora, for that Nora heart here.
I'm more interested in you guys.
Okay, scene 19 is filled with checkpoints to see how your relationship status is, but we will talk all about that in the checkpoint video. If that's already out, I will put the link in the description, but if not, make sure to subscribe so you get notified when it is. But when you come back to the camping area, it's mostly cat points here, but there's one at the end that I feel like is probably for all the girls. So just in case, make sure to pick We'll Find a Way to Go Together when that comes up, because it seems like that's a togetherness group thing.
Oh, we gotta find a way to go together.
And then back in 2022, when Swan is going through her phone, Nora starts talking about how it would be scary to travel alone. So wait for that and make sure to choose traveling alone is empowering in a way.
That's such a good way to look at it, especially as a woman.
Scene 20, this is a key scene for getting something more because there's a lot of choices here that kind of make you choose one or that show an attraction, an interest in one of the girls. So this is really, really crucial.
Swan's gonna make us a fire.
But there's something very special to do for Nora's points right before. So don't light the fire until you do this. Go over to Nora's little corner and examine the area and kind of scan down to the right and you'll see a little bit of a naughty magazine. Now, as you're looking at it, feel free to turn to open it up and look at it. But when you're lingering on this, at some point, Nora's gonna come over. Or if you exit out of it, Nora will also come over.
Is that
Found my dad's secret stash.
your dad's? Ew.
And then she will ask Swan if she also partakes in perusing these, this literature. Make sure to pick, does fan fiction count for that Nora point? Oh, yes.
Oh my god, you nerd. Can I read it?
But now it's time to light that fire and start your truth or dare game. And right away, Nora has the first question, so make sure to choose pick me for who she should be handcuffed to for the rest of her life.
Okay, I'll consider it.
She should pick you if you're following this guide, and when she does, you can then say,
We'd basically be married.
and now it's Swan's turn. It will go back to 2022. We're all talking about what question was asked for Swan's truth. And this is a little bit of a tricky one because there's a lot of positive points you can get for any of the girls here, but there is one that specifically talks about who you're crushing on, and that definitely boosts up your relationship score and your attraction level with whichever girl that you pick. So even though you can get positive hearts with others, I would stick with this one. I think it's really important to get that something more boost.
Good one.
So pick, I have a crush on this musician.
It's me. She's talking about me. Ha!
And after Swan describes the person and they want to know who it is, make sure to pick I'll tell you someday. Now, this is just a single positive heart. My assumption is that it's a heart for the person that you picked. It could be a heart for all of them. So either way, pick this one. And then you get to pick who Swan asks truth or dare to. And if you think about it, the person you're closest to or the person you have a crush on or something like that is who you're going to be thinking about and drawn to. So you definitely want to pick Nora, and Nora will always pick truth. So you have two options for Nora here, and both technically lead to a point, but one I favor so much more than the other. So I'll start with the one I don't. If you pick
Who do you totally hate?
then pick the Dean one for a heart, it should be unlocked.
Bingo.
Then I would pay to watch that for another.
Nora! The Destroyer!
Seriously. Pass the popcorn.
But if you choose,
Have you had sex?
then you have two opportunities to have locked Nora choices be unlocked if your relationship score is high enough.
Who knew Swan had such a dirty mind hidden behind that baby face?
And we know Nora favors these locked choices. So pick baby, you have no idea. And I love how Swan is like,
You have no idea.
Oh, tell me more.
you can pick, surprise, I'm a really kinky goblin, which is also great too. Like, I kind of almost prefer that one.
I'm a really kinky goblin. Oh, yes.
But then if it's unlocked, which it should be at this point if you're following along, you can also say, I bet you're a great kisser. And oh, that's gonna boost up Nora's score for sure.
I am. Wanna try?
So now it's Swan's turn to pick truth or dare, and for Nora, you definitely want to pick truth because eventually the question's going to be, who do you think is the best kisser? Of course, you're going to choose Nora.
Only one way to know for sure.
Okay, that's it for scene 20, packed with high something more opportunities for sure. Scene 21, even though it's all about the abyss, there's some key choices here that you need to make for that score at the end. First, when you're in 2022 and you're trying to figure out what happened after Truth or Dare, make sure to ask Nora, what do you remember, Nora, for a Nora point here. But there is a follow-up where you can say, really, when Nora doesn't remember anything, that's a negative. So stay silent there. This is a careful one. You gotta be so careful. Restart the scene if you do it accidentally. So pick, what do you remember, Nora, and then stay silent. Then eventually they're gonna push a little bit more on Nora because it's clear she remembers something, you know? And if you have a high enough relationship score, which I hope you do at this point, why haven't you restarted if you haven't? You're gonna have an unlocked option. I really cared about you, Nora. Definitely pick that one for the 2022 Reacquainted status for Nora.
I really cared about you, Nora.
Okay, so you're following the glowing moths, you're at the abyss, and you and Kat are talking, and then all of a sudden you hear something.
What was that?
And, you know, if you had a crush, obviously you're gonna be thinking about that crush. So when the option comes up, it'll say like an animal, there might be a lock choice that comes up, but wait for it to say Nora, and then pick Nora, and it's very quick, so you have to be, you know, spot on with your selections in your controller. And then this might only be a heart for Autumn, but I feel like Nora also appreciates Swan saying that the abyss is probably a coincidence.
I hope so.
And then when it's time to decide kind of what you're doing, what the offering means to the abyss, make sure for Nora to pick a trade. It's clear that Nora favors this one over the others.
Like a wishing well.
And that's it for Nora in scene 21. Right away, you have a decision you have to make. You have to choose either, do you think our wishes came true? Or, Nora, why are you being avoidant? Now, that one definitely gives a negative point to Nora. Do you think our wishes came true is a positive. And it's not clear if that is for Autumn or Nora or both. So I would just pick that. You obviously don't want to pick the Nora one, the negative one. But then when you go to the pool table, obviously Autumn wants to keep talking about this. Make sure to pick, shall we play? You know, change the subject. Help Nora out. You get a Nora point there.
Pool time?
Okay,
Yes.
sure.
Next, Autumn will start talking about her wish. Now, definitely do not pick what's bothering you, Nora. You'll get a broken heart there for Nora, so don't pick that one. Pick whatever Autumn one you see. Doesn't matter. You get a point toward her, but at least you won't get the negative for Nora. And then depending on what type of story you told Autumn Swan is writing in scene 13, choose any of those unlocked options for a Nora heart.
I'm working on a book, actually. Wow.
Okay, scene 24. There's not much for Nora in the whole rest of the game except if you get her for your makeup. Now, who does your makeup does not necessarily indicate all the people that you have something more with. It's just based on who the highest point is. You can still have something more with every single person. But if you don't have Nora here, then you're probably not following this guide because we chose Nora for every significant choice there was. And this is such a special moment because like, oh, you think they're gonna kiss or you think something's gonna come, but then it just doesn't.
Come closer.
And you're like, what? What are you talking about? Come closer. And you're like, what? Don't question it. Don't question it. Wait. You have to wait a long time. And eventually the kiss option shows up. Oh, like, oh my God. Okay. So you have to wait. And then go up to the top and then choose kiss. And then of course you're not going to kiss because that would just be too much, right? And then you wait and you choose it, but then you get the extra points there. And after the non-kiss, but like the almost kiss, you should definitely have Something More with Nora in 95 and Reacquainted with Nora in 2022 by far. Make sure to watch the checkpoint video so you can see your status along the way with the girls, as well as the how to get Something More with all 3, because that is possible. You just have to be very careful about what you pick and really pay attention to your choices. Okay, I'll see you in those videos if they're out already, and if not, make sure to subscribe so you're notified when they are, and I'll see you there then. Okay, bye.